Hey, what's up, Fuel Your Mission? Vlog here today is 5 pitfalls to avoid when planning ahead. So there's a little bit of a love-hate relationship with planning ahead. I feel like especially in the times that we live in today where so many of the quick successes and easy to make a buck kind of philosophies are really ruling the internet and social media channels, where you would almost think that finding an opportunity, hustling super hard on it, and then going to market in that way is going to make you tons of success. And in fact, that planning ahead is really becoming quickly charting out your path to success. Whereas I think the traditional thought around sitting down and writing out your life plan, or writing out a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan can really serve you well as well. Obviously, there's no magic bullet. There's no right answer. There's no one size fits all for this kind of stuff. You've really got to find what works for you. However, I think there are 5 critical mistakes that are made when it comes to planning ahead, and then the quick rush to the next phase of your plan that I really think I wanted to call out today in the vlog, that I would say are pitfalls to avoid, that we really have to be careful not to get sucked into moving on too quickly. So the first one is, can you get anything out of the situation you're in now? And I think this is so vital. Let's use a job as an example. You're in your job, you don't care for it very well. You're looking for a new job, actively pursuing that. Every single thing that we go through, let's talk about our career for right now. Everything we go through in our career can be used or leveraged to make us better. There are skills to be learned. There are projects to be worked on. There are things that you can learn from observing others, observing your boss, your manager, your coworker, thinking back on all the projects that you've worked on. So my point in that scenario would be, don't quickly rush on to that next job and kind of like make the break from your current job. Really use it and squeeze everything out of that situation you can. These are things that I wish so badly, looking back at some of the early job moves that I made, that could have been so beneficial if I just learned to quiet down and calm my mind and really get more out of that position before I left it. The other thing is, and maybe you could argue that this should be flipped with the first one, but are you extra confident that you're ready to move on? I think this is one that, going back to our culture today, just the fast pace of digital media, social media, what's kind of being pushed on the web is how quickly, you'll notice we're more concerned about how old somebody is or the age they are when they successfully found a certain company, or reach a certain threshold of sales with their business, or have a certain job title or whatever. We are very metric driven in terms of what we should accomplish by a certain age. That's something I've struggled with significantly, but the result is the end result is that you really need to figure out what is right for you. And I think that planning correctly and avoiding the pitfall of moving on to the next phase of your plan can be a disaster, because if you're really not confident, then you're definitely not going to be confident in that next level of your quote unquote plan, or the phase, or whatever you want to call it. So I think making sure that you're confident is critical point number 2. The third thing is, can you learn anything? This goes back to the first point. Is there anything more that you can absorb that is going to serve you well in the future? I think that's something that's so easily missed. So make sure you really are learning all that you can. The fourth thing is, are there any other benefits of value that you can pass on to others? And this is where myself being, I'll kind of call out the millennial generation, myself being at the one end of the millennial generation, I find that this is a label that we really get as a culture today. And while there's certainly some merit to it, I also feel like we've got an opportunity to really prove the naysayers wrong in that category. And what I mean by that is, we are viewed, right or wrong, as a very self-serving culture. And I would say that that's probably an American viewpoint in general, not just a millennial viewpoint. But how can we serve others? What value can we bring to others before we leave that phase of our plan, or before we leave that position in our career? And I really believe very, very firmly It could be as little as putting together an action plan on what your job entails for the next person that's going to take it if you're moving on. If we use a different example, maybe it's school and you're getting ready to graduate and you just can't wait. You're sick of being at that your school or university or whatever. What can you do to kind of leave that, if we think of like leaving a legacy or leaving a trail of positivity behind you? And I think that's something that's so easily missed. So that's point number 4. The fifth thing is, and I wanted to wrap up on this point, is to be self-reflective. It is absolutely critical that as we are moving on to the next phase of our lives or our career or whatever, that we look back. I mean, this is a critical business technique. We look back and we say, what did we do and what could we have did well, did differently, is kind of the phrase that I've heard in business circles. But what are the things that we should repeat that got us success or got us a desired outcome? And what are the things that we should not repeat? It's very, very clear, black and white. That's an exercise that shouldn't take very long. What are the things that you did in your job or at school or in your business or whatever it is that got a good outcome? What are the things that you did that did not get a good outcome? And then you need to make a decision on which things you're going to do again. And obviously that should kind of help guide you in which you're not. So as you answer these questions, it will really shape your vision for the future. And lastly, I guess I would say the key takeaway is that forward thinking is critical. Planning ahead is critical. You've just really got to get it right and don't rush the process. I would simplify it to that. Don't rush the process. So I would leave it with that. Don't get hung up in the timelines and other people's success. You need to really realize that everybody looks differently. Everybody's career looks differently. Their work looks different, and the timeline for those things is different as well. So just really think about that. Thanks as always for watching. Leave your comments below and please subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you on the next one.